Estás escuchando Radio Primavera Sound, proudly presented by Cupra.
And welcome back to Radio Primavera Sound, coming to you live from the Primavera Sound Festival, where it's just gone 6. It's kind of beautiful out there, and it's we are in the company of Anthony Fantano. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. What's going on with you guys?
Good, I think. All good. We've been
quite good.
Quite busy, as have you, I believe, kind of doing a few interviews and stuff. But yeah,
I'm overloaded. I'm overstimulated. I'm overcaffeinated. I'm out of my mind.
That's quite good coffee over there. Have you tried?
Oh yeah, no, I've had the cold brew.
Ooh.
And I've been off coffee for a minute, so I'm going back to it. Just the festival's a special occasion, so now I'm all jittery. So I'm ready. I'm locked in. I'm locked out.
Well, I'm glad you're locked in rather than locked out, or both. Because what we thought, last time we talked, we kind of asked you, kind of standard questions about music journalism and that kind of thing. And we thought, okay, we've already done that. So what I wanted to do is to make you our kind of musical agony uncle.
Musical agony uncle?
Yeah. Please tell me the agony uncle makes sense, because when I told it, I mentioned it to the people in the office, they were like, what is an agony uncle?
I think of myself more as a musical pleasure aunt, as opposed to a musical agony uncle. But I'll fill the role. I'm into some role play.
Okay, good. Are you in that place?
Okay, I'm there now.
Perfect.
I'm there now.
So what we've got is musical sort of questions. If anyone's got any particular musical questions they want to ask, then you can do so in the chat, and I'll have a look at them. But I've got a few, some of which I collected from friends, some of which are sadly reflective of my own life. But we will see. Okay, this comes from Nico, who's from Italy, who is a friend of mine.
Okay.
It says, "My children are driving me mad with Baby Shark."
Okay.
What the hell can you recommend to get it out of my head?
To get Baby Shark out of your head?
Yeah, something that's even more kind of...
I feel like... Listen, I feel like kids should be allowed to listen to some kids songs, and I think kids songs are cool. But I feel like parents got to find a way to kind of like meet their kids halfway with just sort of like showing them regular music, but something that will like work on their terms. I'm not going to play my kids like Napalm Death. I mean, maybe a little bit here and there. Maybe start with like some They Might Be Giants, something like that. Something like an adult band that has like kind of a kidsy, fun, quirky sort of attitude about them. Like maybe some Aquabats. Like put the seed in the next generation of bringing ska back. That sort of thing. Just like some happy-go-lucky adult bands that you could show kids, where it's like it's good enough to appeal to a kid to have kind of like a kidsy music kind of vibe to it, but you don't have to like torture yourself with Baby Shark, because you want your kids to listen to like fun music and silly music and music that like allows them to kind of like be free in their happy childlike attitude. But again, you don't want to subject yourself to having to be tortured with just like, Coco Melon all the time.
Yes.
Which, there's some fine Coco Melon songs. You want your kids to know the lullaby classics. You want them to know their Twinkle Twinkle Little Stars and everything like that. You don't want them to be totally alienated from their friend group, like, although it's like, honestly, I don't know what kids are into, like little kids. Like I sometimes I think kids are not on to certain things that they are. In my neighborhood, I saw, and I was concerned, being a concerned citizen in my community. I saw this random trio of just white children on bikes, just completely unattended, like maybe like 6 to 8 range, and in my neighborhood, there's other families, there's families in my neighborhood. And one of the kids like next door, I guess he's maybe friends with one of them or something. And they were walking by, and I was with a friend of mine who, co-hosts my stream. And, these kids, hey, is this kid next door? First thing in my head is like, why are you unattended? You're like 8 years old in the middle of the street. I don't know where your family lives. I don't know where your neighborhood is, whatever, But they asked, and I said, okay, he's here. This is where he lives. And they're like, thank you. And they went over there. And I don't know if they weren't home or something, but they very quickly kind of turned around and left. And as they were leaving, one of them said, thank you, sir. You have a good day. And I said, okay. I figure that's a thing that you say to somebody who looks like an old man, to you when you're 8 or 6 or whatever. And then one of them turns around and says to me, I swear to fucking Christ, he turns around and says to me, oh, I'm really into Tyler, the Creator, by the way. He makes some pretty cool beats. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Number one, you're 8. Why are you listening to the Tyler, the Creator? Number 2, why would you think that's a thing that you need to say to me, a 40-year-old man? You're not just saying that to any random 40-year-old guy you see. You're not trying to impress 40-year-olds. So I was like, you must have seen a thing I was in
definitely.
know I'm the... and what did you think was going to happen from there? It's like, oh man, Tyler. It's like let's have a real music discourse.
He's around my house right now. Let's
wait a second, 8-year-old, Chromacopia or Igor? Like which one? And if you answer wrong, I'm taking your bike. What do you think's going to happen from there? Like what's the discourse? But I think kids have capacity to be hip to stuff that maybe adults don't necessarily presume they would or should be if given the chance. Because you're a kid, you have to listen to Baby Shark.
Yeah. Do you know what my kids listen to?
What do they listen to?
Anything that isn't my music. They just think it's awful.
Is it out of spite?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, okay. I don't know what I did with them.
Wait, what are you trying to show them that
Well, no, I don't know what it's really like. I occasionally try, like we're having dinner and I'll kind of put on some music and I'll be like, oh, and then they're like, is this your music? Like, yes. And they're like, well, we don't like it.
You should lie next time and just say, no, never heard of this in my life. But it sounds good. Sounds okay. How does it sound to you? It's...
I think we were talking about this last time that my daughter had a sort of a musical criticism insight.
Right.
In that she got annoyed that I never give a 10 to anything.
Right. Basically. Yeah. We did talk about that. Yeah.
Okay, that was really, really good advice. And I've got another one that is actually kind of from personal experience.
Okay.
So, it used to be. I don't know if do you have many parties at your house, or do you ever have parties?
I don't host a lot at my place. I don't.
Me neither, but occasionally.
I'll go to a party somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
the thing was, right, when I was younger, the legend went, if you have a party and you want people to leave, you put on Joy Division.
Oh, yeah, you're putting on some music that's going to harsh the vibe.
The problem being, everyone loves Joy Division now. So if you put on Joy Division now, people just go like, oh, God, did you see the film? Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So what should you put on?
Oh, I'm probably. I mean, it depends on the friend group. You just really got to read the room. I mean, there are certain places where Death Grips will clear out the room. There are certain places where Benson Boone's going to clear out the room. It just depends on. You just got to read the crowd. You just really got to read the crowd.
Okay, another one that sort of comes from my life. I used to listen to the Smiths when I was sad.
Okay, when you were used to.
Well, no, and now Morrissey has such, interesting opinions.
Okay, now you associate him with that, and now you can't be sad to it anymore. So you disconnected your emotions from the Smiths.
I cannot listen to them anymore.
You've completely separated it. Okay.
So, but that leaves like this kind of hole in my life. I mean,
a Smith-shaped hole, a Morrissey-shaped hole in your life.
That's literally what I said. There's a Smith-shaped hole in my life.
Right.
So, what should I listen to?
What do you fill with the Smiths? I feel like you could he'd probably hate this. You could throw Matty Healy in that Smith-shaped hole in your life. Throw Matty Healy in the 1975 in there.
I don't hate that. No, but I don't necessarily see it. What do you see as the connection?
I think they're quite sad, and also Matty Healy, problematic king.
True.
He's also saying too much sometimes.
I guess I was sort of hoping for someone that wasn't problematic in any way, so I could.
Oh, okay. No, I feel like while Morrissey has definitely gone overboard, I feel like it's kind of part of the package. You have to have somebody who's like to forge lyricism like that. I mean, he has great classic lyrics about how much of a loudmouth and how sort of like, out of pocket he tends to be sometimes, So I feel like you have to have at least a little bit of that, maybe not like Kanye West Hitler level, you know, where you're making a Hitler song. You obviously don't want to go that crazy, but I feel like you have to have a front man who's at least willing to sort of like put their foot in their mouth at least a few times.
I mean, where do you stand on this generally? I mean, you've made your views on Kanye West known very admirably, and again, this is something we talked about last time. I thought you talked very well about this. How much do you let that affect your listening? What you kind of think of people doing it? I mean, are you able to separate the person from the art, or is it all?
Yeah, I mean that's always kind of like the narrative piece. I feel like that's something that's possible, and I do it in maybe more instances than maybe people might think, because I mean, even without necessarily being sort of offensively problematic in a way that goes viral or sort of like draws a lot of headlines or controversy, there are a lot of artists that I cover on a regular basis and sometimes very favorably, whose maybe views on certain things I don't agree with, you know, and it's like I can't bring that into every single review. I mean, there's I know maybe politics is like kind of the big sort of continuum that discussion and that, you know, sort of like thought kind of runs along, but there's a lot of artists that I disagree with on a myriad of different topics, even when just kind of going into the ethos of the songs that they're creating. And, you know, I can't make every single review that I do like a personal grievance against, like, oh, you think this, but I think this, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like separating the artist from the art to a degree is necessary, and it's doable up until the point where maybe they're doing or have done something so heinous that it's like a crime against, you know, humanity or their fellow human being. Either that, or when they're literally putting the stuff that you're supposed to be separating them from in the music, then it becomes kind of difficult to kind of like move on. Like if you're actively making songs about how much of an awful person you are and how much of a dirtbag you are and just all the things that make you terrible and so unlikable, it kind of makes it difficult to go into that song and be like, oh, I'm just going to look at this objectively. Like, you're literally making it impossible to separate. It's literally what the art is about. You know, I can't just ignore the content of the art just for the sake of being like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, but this guy has multiple crazy allegations against him or something, and he's like proudly flaunting that in his song. Like, obviously, like I can't, you know, that's sort of like a border right there, and it's a border they're creating, you know, by actually like making their music about it and making it impossible to ignore.
I have so many more questions, and you've done excellent. That was amazing, particularly the advice on the children. But sadly, we have to go.
Oh, and I appreciate you guys taking the time either way.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, and I'm going to go and tell my children this is what you said.
Yeah, no, like just again, just try to think of like fun artists who are making chill, kidsy, upbeat music, and try to find, you know, some connections that way. I
will be slightly offended if they pay attention to you and not me, though. But
I don't know. So I have faith that you can do it. I have faith you can do it.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your time.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you guys. All right, have a good one.
Estás escuchando Radio Primavera Sound, proudly presented by Cupra.